Welcome to KIRSTIcast, the show where we hope to illuminate, entertain, and engage our listeners, helping them create the life they want. I'm your host, Kirsty Manna. Hey everybody, I'm Kirsty Manna, and welcome to KIRSTIcast. I'm so glad that you decided to stop by and check out what we have going on in our studio today, and I'm excited to have with me, as we open the show, Bill Warner. Now, for those of you who maybe check out what I do, Bill Warner and I have been married for a really, really, really long time. Is that enough reallys for you, Bill?
Definitely.
And I thought it would be fun to have Bill come in and talk with me a little bit as we open the show, and wanted to talk a little bit about how Bill and I are a power team and a production team, and how we have worked together so long in the music business, and I thought it'd be cool to have him around sometimes in the opens and see what it's like to be married to somebody that you actually work with. I would love to hear from you out there if you work with your husband or you work with your wife, and what that experience is like for you, because sometimes it's not the smoothest thing in the world.
Definitely.
Is that all you're going to say, Bill?
I'm listening.
Oh, okay. So you're going to let me
See, that's important.
Yeah, it is good.
You have to listen at all times.
It is good. My dad always said to be a good listener, and it's true. But we got to interview Jude Toy for this episode, and I thought it was interesting how we talked with her about a shift in a career. And there are a lot of people in the music business that do that. And one thing that's different than Bill and I have been doing for the last few years is we've been running a record label called Lucky Sky Music here in Nashville. And we get to make a lot of music and create a lot of music, but there's, sides to running a record label that are really unique, other than just, worrying about where the next song is coming from. So I thought it was interesting that we talked about that a little bit with Jude. And Jude actually is somebody that came to Nashville, like so many people, and even like myself, who came to Nashville to be an artist and then shifted to becoming a songwriter. And so if that sounds like you in some way out there, then you might be interested in listening to what she has to say about that and what we talked. And other than that, of course, it's just a couple of girls talking, right, Bill?
Yeah, yes. Personally, I came to town to be a guitar player and
yes,
being a songwriter, and then ultimately I ended up being a studio rat, being an engineer and now a producer. So yeah, you got to go with the flow.
Yeah, I think it's important to always be open to changes in your career, and especially in the music business, because there are opportunities. I'm just really speaking for Nashville, but there's so many opportunities every door that you open. You just never know how you're going to be called and what you're going to be called to do.
Got to be objective at all times.
That's exactly right. So I hope you're going to stick around for our interview with Jude Toy. You're listening to KIRSTIcast. We're going to be right back. I've spent years of self-discovery learning how to live a successful creative life. That's why I created my course, Spark Your Creativity, the Steps to a Successful Creative Journey, to help others discover their own potential. Your creative journey never ends. So why not invest in yourself and sign up for my course today at kirsty.com. Welcome back, everybody. I'm so excited to have with me a really dear friend and a co-writer here from Nashville, Tennessee. But let me tell you a little bit about her. She's originally from the Pacific Northwest, which is a place that I need to go visit more.
Yes, you do.
I would love to see more of it. She moved to Nashville to pursue singing and songwriting, and originally she was brought to Nashville by an EMI publisher, EMI Music Publishing, but the publisher was Bruce Birch, and he was such a great guy. I always loved him. He was such awesome. A lover of and helper of songwriters.
Boy, really.
So she was brought to write and record demos with the purpose of getting a record deal, and soon after she started a duo called the Darlings. Am I saying that right?
You
the
are.
Darlings?
You absolutely are, the Darlings.
And they toured and performed everywhere nationwide, internationally for many years, and they opened for many acts like Dwight Yoakam, Casey Musgraves, Daryl Worley, Tommy Two-Tone, Montgomery Gentry, and many others. And now she is continuing her career as a songwriter and has been blessed to write with me. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, please, yes.
No, She's been blessed to write with lots of hit writers: Doug Johnson, Danny Wells, Tony Mullins. He's a hoot.
He's a
Costas, Tia Sellers, and me, and Brian White, and others, and me. And she currently writes for her own company called Teal Truck Publishing, co-founded by Lee Lemon and Mark Driscoll, who I love.
Yes.
The brilliant mind of Mark Driscoll.
Yes.
Please welcome to the show, Jude Toy.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, this is so fun.
I'm so glad
to
that you got to be here today. And we just finished writing a song with our friend Angus Gill.
I am so excited about this song.
Yes.
I really love it. It's always such an honor to write with you. And he's so fun too. He's just great.
He's a riot.
Yeah.
And I can hear my listeners going, what's the name of the song? We're not going to tell you.
No,
because we're
we will not.
getting it ready
Yes.
to pitch to a couple of big artists here in town. There's a couple of big ones looking that we want to get to. And that's always a challenge in our world.
Boy, it really is.
But
More and more. But we still, there's always that hope. And you never know.
We
You just never
persist
know.
and we do our
Yep.
best. And
Yeah.
you just told me in the right that you're going to get to meet Dolly Parton.
Yes,
Tell me about that.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's like a dream come true.
Yeah.
I was invited to go see her play and to meet her after.
Oh,
and
that's
so,
exciting.
First thing, what do I wear?
I
Well,
know.
I know what I'm wearing. I'm wearing my big chunky heels
Yeah.
that are all decked out and
Yeah.
a cute hat and a cute outfit and just enjoy every minute of it.
Yeah.
She's like my hero. I mean,
Oh, she's so many people's hero, right?
she really is.
She is a really nice person. My husband Bill, who's here in the studio. He's taking pictures. Thank God.
Hello.
He's doing something.
And great
Hello.
lighting. We're so grateful.
Yeah, he has nice lighting. But he worked with Dolly some years ago, and so he's at this session with Dolly, and he said, you got to come up here and meet Dolly Parton. I said, all right. So I went running up there, and she was just the most warm, personable artist. You know, she's so, she's not like up in her head about herself or anything like that.
No.
She's really cool.
She just seems that way, down
Yeah.
to earth,
Yeah.
so wonderful, and such a good businesswoman, but yet she helps so many people. I think she's amazing, and I'm so excited and thrilled to meet her.
That's really
yeah.
going to be nice.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
anyway,
exciting.
let's talk for a little bit. You know, we were just joking around for a minute about the music business, but what for you is one of the most frustrating things about the music business? It could be something in the past or now, or whatever you want to talk about.
I think it's changed so much, as we've talked about before, and constantly changing. I love so much about it, but the frustrating things really are just trying to get songs cut and get them placed.
Yeah.
And so that's become a lot more of a challenge than it ever was, seems like, before.
Yeah.
I've been blessed to have that happen, get cuts, but it just seems like it's increasingly more challenging.
Yeah.
So that would be a big frustration, my only real huge frustration with it. And I think that, being heard and getting in the room with the right artists, and I really feel like mostly it's just such a fun experience, and I love everything about it.
Yes, I agree.
But that to me seems like a big challenge, and I think that's increasingly a challenge for other writers who are independent or small publishers.
What's something that I know what I do, but I want to hear your thoughts. What's something you do if you get in a room with a young artist and they seem like they really have writer's block, or they really don't know how, how they don't know how to get the idea out?
Yes.
What is something that you feel works to help them while you're in the room?
You know what is, to me, works really well is to kind of just start out just having a conversation. What's
Yes.
going on with your life? What's important to you?
Yes.
Get a feel for where they are and what they are passionate about.
Yeah.
So that seems to always kind of break the ice. And sometimes I take notes and I'm like, what about this? We've just said all these things. This is great. Why don't we make this, our title?
Part of the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that seems to really work and resonate well.
Now, do you write, I know you write with a lot of different people, a lot of artists rather, but do you write a lot with female artists or
Mostly it's been men,
Really?
and male artists. Yeah. But I've been lucky to write with more female artists recently.
Yeah.
Which is great because it's kind of rare, or was.
Yeah.
It's so funny to be in a room and, be a woman, but be thinking like a man.
Oh, I know. Isn't that a funny thing?
It's hilarious.
Well, in the case of today, it was like 2 against 1
Yeah,
with Angus.
right,
Like, no,
right.
Angus, we're the 2 women. No, this is
We
not
win.
what we
Yeah.
win. He's like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, he gave in to us.
He was giving up quickly. So what made you decide to transition from being an artist? I mean, I think every songwriter is an artist, but being a full-out artist to a songwriter, what happened for you in your life or in your career that you wanted to change like that?
I was such a ham. I loved to perform live when I was in a duo, because it was, it's easier, I feel like, to be in a group. For me, I just love working with other people.
You have somebody to play off of.
Yeah, right. But I feel like I just felt like being out on the road, being gone all the time, and it just wasn't quite what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I felt like, really want to dig into the writing and tell stories and really, go that route. Just fit my personality better and my lifestyle better.
Well, I know what you mean by that. I worked with an artist on Columbia Records some years ago, and I remember being out on the road with her, and the label reps would show up, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is like a lot to really have to go through. And I'm so strong-minded, I thought, this is probably would not, this would not work for me in this route, because I really wanted to, I pursued record deals too.
Oh, sure.
And I really wanted to do that, and it's really interesting. There's so many women I've talked to in the industry that are doing something that's completely unrelated to writing or singing that, of course, wanted to pursue being an artist. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And then something clicked for them, and they, decided to go not the safer route, because it's all hard, but just like maybe a route where they could more do their own thing. Yeah. Be their own person,
Absolutely. And have a life and a family and everything else, like there's so many things that women have to do. And so... you're juggling,
Are you guys listening out there? Yeah. There's so many things women have to do.
It's so hard for us.
Yes, take some stuff off our plate for crying out loud.
Right?
Oh, that's funny.
I love that.
Now, how has your music career been shaped by different relationships you've had? What are some relationships you've had with people that have really, made you think about maybe a different angle you want to work on in your career, or anything?
I mean, I think developing relationships, that's a big thing in this town. And I think maybe people coming into this environment don't realize that. Yeah. It's not just, let's get to this person through this person.
Yeah.
Let's just really get to know somebody and develop a relationship. So I think relationships are very important in Nashville.
Yeah.
And I've been so lucky to work with, Bill D. I love working with him. It's such an honor to be in the room with him and with you and with people that are really know their craft. And it just is so enlightening to me and interesting. And those relationships are precious. And you don't always have that when you're writing a lot with new people all the time. And you don't have the quality of people that have been craftsmen, worked at this forever and know how to a great hook and how to make things happen. So relationships are key, and the ones I've developed, I'd say in the last 5 years have been ones that I want to take with me. And I think the group is getting narrower and narrower.
Oh yeah,
you know
it's
what I
really
mean?
True,
right?
I was telling you about that event that I went to at CMA Fest. It was called The Mirror, and it was Trisha Yearwood was speaking, and she had writers up there that had written songs with her for her upcoming album. Yeah, and it was really interesting, how she was talking about that as well, and just, soul searching on her own about her own artistry and everything. And she's had such an amazing career.
Oh, yeah.
But it is really true. I think anybody out there listening that's, considering pursuing, coming to Nashville, I always have told people, come here and visit, but don't treat it like you're on a vacation.
Yeah.
And try to meet some people, while you're here if you're trying to pursue something. And now... Yep. You don't even have to live in Nashville to pursue a songwriting career if you don't want to, or if you don't have the means. You can travel here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can work with people when you come to town, and work with people on Zoom, which is an optimum, but it's I still know a lot of people that do that. Sure. Still write with Zoom.
I do too. And that was my saving grace in 2020, which is a lot of people's saving grace. But some people hated writing on Zoom, so they really had a hard time with that. Yeah. But to me, I got used to it, and you kind of develop, this thing with it. But now, I mean, if you can be in the room, that's ideal.
Oh, yeah. I think it's the best way to go.
I do too.
So here's something that I ask all of my guests, because my mantra is whatever you do, stay inspired. If I could talk, I would say it correctly, but there it is. Whatever you do, stay inspired.
Stay inspired.
And so, what is a stay inspired story for you? In other words, it could be anything in life, anytime in your life. Doesn't have to be about music, but what is something that happened in your life that you just stays with you and inspired you in some way?
I think really it's a choice every single day you wake up. I look at it that way. Like every day you have an opportunity, and the world is an open road for you, and you choose, am I going to, take advantage of every minute of this day and make the best of it and stay inspired? Yeah. Or am I going to fall into whatever mood I might be feeling at the moment? Yeah. And so to me, it's really about every day and waking up and making a choice to love as much of it as you can.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we all go through periods where we're maybe not as inspired. And so in those times, I feel like I've really gone out and kind of gotten out of my head and gone to see somebody play that I really love, or listen to different types of music, or, I delve into other things like creative content and do, write shows, ideas for television shows, and I've implemented those. And so that kind of keeps me balanced and inspired.
Yeah. Well, it's a different kind of challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And so you kind of get out of your head of songwriter mode and you're into this other thing, and it's very inspiring. And then when you go back to doing what you do, it just gives you a whole new element of excitement and, inspiration. So that's a great question.
I like that. Well, I just think that when people aren't living in Nashville, we're lucky to live here and, be in the big bubble, whatever you want to call it. And there's some people that they're living somewhere that maybe it's on a music town, or there's not a lot of outlets. And I just always think that there can be anything in life that can happen that can really inspire you. It's just geography,
Yeah, no, right. And you can come and visit and you can connect with people. And I agree, you don't have to be here. I think when I first moved here, it was kind of like, you have to be here.
Yes.
And it's really good to be here.
Yes.
And we're very lucky to be here.
Yes.
But it's opened up so much, that people from out of state and people who have aspirations, different countries, that want to come here, and they can come and visit and, make those relationships and go back home and still be in contact.
Yeah. Well, you learn so much about relationships, as you were talking earlier. You learn so much about how to be social with people and how to network with people, because this town gives a lot of opportunity to network. You can join, oh my gosh, there's a myriad of clubs you can join. One I recommend, and if you don't belong, you should, is AIMP. It's the Association of Independent Music Publishers. And there are so many great opportunities to meet people there, because you're talking about all the independent music publishers are present, from the bottom to the top. I mean, from the smallest to the biggest.
Yeah.
So you really can get up and up close and personal with people if you want to take the time to go to those events. So talk a little bit about your process of writing. When you get inspired for an idea, I just want to know, like, the whole nuts and bolts with you. Do you write it down in a notebook? Do you put it in your phone? What do you do?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, I'll be driving, I'll have an idea, and I'll, call myself or put it on a voice memo, pull over.
Yeah.
I'm inspired all the time, and I'd love to write things down. I have a huge catalog of just like titles.
Yeah.
And have them categorized. This would be a great Christian title. This would be a great, Christmas title.
Yeah.
Usually before I write, I spend time and effort to think about the write and who's in it, and what would be a great title or a great hook, a melody, sit down and work out maybe a little riff or something just to bring to the table.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to not just show up and be like, well, I don't know. What do you want to write about?
Right. I know. That's all. But today our idea came out of some conversation. I always love that.
Yeah, me too. I know, that was so fun.
When it gets a little more tightened up, as we say, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. Because, it's also appreciating the other writers and artists' time.
Yeah.
You want to come prepared and have something that's, that you think they'll like.
Yes.
Or several different ideas. Like I know you've said, I come in with, a bunch of different titles.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's always a thing that I think young writers don't really know to do, or they don't think they need to, because they don't really know how it goes.
Right.
Right. And some days I've been doing it a long time. I don't know how it goes. It gets a little bit.
I know, right? Oh, it's so funny.
But don't you remember the days, before you really tuned into it, that how we would show up in a writing room and we, it's like the scariest thing in the world. It's almost like you just didn't know what the heck you were supposed to do.
Oh, I know. And I wasn't, when I came to Nashville, and it was Bruce Birch, who was so lovely. And he threw me in rooms with people that were very seasoned, and I had no clue. I was just so green.
Yeah.
And they were so nice and so kind, and we wrote some great songs, But you really, as a new artist or new person in a room, you don't really understand, you're new to town, I should say.
Yeah.
And so, you learn those things along the way.
Oh, yeah.
Which is great.
Well, if you're smart, you pick them up quick,
Yeah. Yeah.
You just watch how it goes.
Right.
So how did you actually meet Bruce Birch?
Well, I was performing at a Durango Songwriter Festival.
Oh, that's
in Colorado.
Great.
Have you been to those?
No, I'd love to go.
Oh, it's so fun. Oh my gosh, I went for years and years.
Just the setting, I bet, is great.
Oh, it's gorgeous. So I was playing a showcase there, and Bruce saw me and said, I really like her, like what she's doing. Love her voice. I'd love to talk to her. And so we started a conversation. He said, you need to come to Nashville sometime and write. And so that's sort of where it all started. And I started coming out to Nashville and writing, and he did sides for me to try and get a record deal. But I never felt like I was really a singer per se. I can sing harmonies, love to sing harmonies, was in a duo, as you know. But I never really wanted to be, just a singer. I really had more interest in the songs.
In creating something for a singer.
Yeah, right, for someone else. Yeah. Yeah, so.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's been great.
So, who is what artist, who's a dream artist for you to cut one of your songs? Who would you,
my gosh.
What are your top three? Let me say that.
Oh my gosh.
And why?
Oh, okay. Well, Dolly Parton, because I love her, as we talked about. She's just such an inspiration. I think that would be such an honor.
Yeah.
To have such an amazing artist cut a song, or love a song that I did that, she wanted to record.
Well, she's an iconic artist in person.
Yes, she is.
Think about all she represents, this amazing businesswoman and...
Oh my God, everything, all the things.
Yeah.
Right. Let me think about this. Who else? I really, really like Jelly Roll. I love what he's doing.
Yeah.
I love his story, love his passion, his belief, his faith.
Yeah.
I just think he's got such an interesting story, and it's like a story of perseverance and, of course, things that I can really relate to, perseverance and staying with it and overcoming. And, I love his story. And then, let me see, a third person. Who would that be? Good question. Who would it be? Well, I love the whole Bailey Zimmerman, Morgan Wallen. I love that sound and that style. I know they're great writers and they write all their own stuff, so I don't know about, but if this is just a dream and whoever could cut something, I'll just say, Hardy, Morgan Wallen. Who's the other guy that I love so much? That, the Corey Kents. I love that camp, that whole bunch of musicians and the Texas artists.
Yeah.
A lot of them, came from Texas. So, of course, I love that. But I don't know. I didn't even think about that. It's such a good question. So
those Texas artists, they really have it going on. They work really hard. You know, they get that fan base. It's just like impermeable.
Oh my
And they follow them everywhere.
No, they really do.
Yeah.
Texas has that authenticity that I love so much.
Yeah.
Texas artists.
Did you live in Texas for a while?
I did.
Where at?
Yeah, I lived in Dallas.
Oh.
In Denton, actually, north of Dallas.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah. It was awesome. And, I connected with some great people and wrote with Drew Fish.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask you about that song.
Yeah.
So that song, Blue Sky Goodbye, was the top played song on Texas radio, right? Last year?
Yeah. Isn't that so cool?
Did it go? But it didn't go number one.
Didn't go number one.
Now that doesn't seem
number
right.
4. I'm like, at least if we went number 2, I could make a chocolate cake.
That doesn't seem right. I don't understand how that even works.
I know. Like, how does that work?
I don't know.
They kind of have their own thing, and it's so great to me how they do that. But Drew's great. He's a wonderful guy, and I'm so grateful that he cut the song.
How do you know him? Did you know from living in Texas?
Well, I didn't know anybody when we moved to Texas.
Oh boy.
So I, through Shane, met Tammy Millspath.
Oh yeah.
And Tammy introduced me to Drew.
Yeah.
And I said, let's write. So I called Bill, and Bill came down, and
I
and we
remember
all
him
wrote.
saying.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about Bill DeLuigi. We keep saying Bill
Yeah.
D.
Sorry.
And that's okay. No, I mean
DeLuigi.
the world should
The world needs to
the
know.
world should know him.
Yeah.
But his name's Bill DeLuigi, and so of course he's my Italian brother, and
Yeah. Oh, he's a doll.
he's a great writer. He's
such a great writer.
Such a great guy.
Oh, I love him. I love being in a room with him. I feel like I learned so much, and how he'll be sitting there and he'll be like, oh, maybe it's this. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And it's just like something brilliant. I'm like, guys, you're just so, I don't need to say a word. You're so
tuned in.
Yeah, right.
Well, he's totally somebody that really knows how to get what's in his head out.
Yes.
He really knows how he thinks, and he knows how to think.
Yes.
And that's another thing is I think a lot of young writers don't know how to kind of center their thoughts, you know, or really focus on the idea, what the actual idea is of the song.
Right to the hook.
It's
right
not
to
just
the hook.
about liking a title or something, which I hear a lot of songs on the radio. They think, well, they liked that title.
Yeah.
Or they like the sound of that.
Yep.
Whoever was writing it,
It's amazing. And there's so many things. I think also with younger writers, they want to be done. They want to get it written and be done with it. And I feel like, gosh, you know what? It's so important to go back and really look at your song and rewrite it. Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid of rewriting it, reworking it. Hey, maybe we could say this better. So I think that's something I would tell a younger writer.
Yeah.
To really look over your work and, take a couple days and then re-listen to it and say, we could have phrased that better, or we could say this differently.
Well, the thing is, too, I think it's, I always say this, you're not going to cut the vocal today.
Yeah.
So, and I know my husband Bill's had many experiences with top writers in the studio where they're fixing something down to the wire. They're in there cutting the demo, and they're rewriting the song, rewriting lines.
Sure.
So just tweaking, always tweaking,
Oh, I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Because really it is, and you can always say something in a different way that's fresh or better, or, and that's one great thing about writing with you and Bill. I mean, I feel that you really you don't just settle for whatever.
Yeah.
You really want to get the best idea across.
Thank you. Well, you don't either. I mean, you're always trying to find the best way to say it, and, making sure it rolls off your tongue okay, too.
Conversational.
Yeah. I love that. I remember the first time somebody said that to me, I thought, what in the world are they talking about? Like some publisher took a song into the... What does that mean exactly? Now I totally understand what it means.
Exactly.
You almost can't even explain it to anybody. Well, how do you...
True.
Would you say that? No. Well, then forget it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have to almost say it back. Like, would you say it that way, so formal and whatever?
Yeah, exactly.
No,
like it's poetry.
Yeah.
But isn't that funny? You wonder, like back in the time of Shakespeare or, Jane Austen or something, it's like, they would write, and you thought, I used to think, especially like with Jane Austen, do people really talk like this? I would love to have been there for an hour just to hear that.
Yeah, I know, right?
They're not going, hey, yo,
It's so
Did you
true.
see a Jane Austen book that was like written, that'll be the next thing. Somebody will do an AI version of Jane Austen for 2025. That would be sick.
It'd be so sick.
And not sick in a good way.
Yeah, right.
So, what do you feel like is the importance having your own publishing company, and why would you really recommend that to somebody, to a young writer?
I think, I think finding a right publisher and having a relationship with somebody who can really mentor you and be in the trenches with you and really, admire you so much, because you're like that with Tori and Tori Martin, and working with her and with all the writers you have. I feel like that's super important in developing the relationship of the career of somebody who's up and coming.
Yeah.
And having a small label really enables you to do that.
Yeah.
The big guys are the big guys, you know. It's harder for the smaller publishers.
Yeah.
It really is. But, you persevere. And if you pick the right people and work with the right people, you do something great, you know. End up just doing something that's really progressive and wonderful, especially if you really believe in the people you're around.
Yeah.
But to me, that's always been the most important thing, is finding people, writers, artists that I believe in and really enjoy being around. Too, it's part of the process. You have to have fun too. It's not just like, like I bring silliness to the rights usually, and fun and laughter. And, that's important too. I think having relationships too, and keeping it light and fun, but also churning out something that's really, really great too.
Well, it creates kind of a calmness, like an even keeled kind of feeling in a room when it's when people are really getting along. It's not so heavy and
right.
You're,
have you ever been in those rides where it's so heheavy you can cut it with a knife and you're like, oh my gosh,
it's just not it's not fun at all, because you don't know what anybody's thinking. And I'm all the things I've discovered about myself over the years of writing, that I'm a need to know person. And so that goes way into my writing, because I need to know, where am I going? I have to have a roadmap.
Yeah.
I have to understand. We have to talk about it. That's me. Yeah. And so I can't not be that in a room.
Yeah.
And if we can't do that together, then we can just go have lunch and do that.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Because not everybody you meet is really going to be a good writing partner.
It's so
because
true.
It's all about personalities and such a give and take. It's like the most crazy marriage in the world, to be with co-writers.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I remember the one time we wrote with J4, and you were saying, "Okay, now guys, what are we trying to say? Let's talk it out." And I loved that you did that, because it's true. Let's figure out what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
Well,
because we're all artists and in our own world, in our own head, and so we don't know what anybody's thinking, on the other side. When I first came to Nashville, I regret I never had a mentor, and I never until some years after I was here wrote for a publisher that actually would talk to me about the songs, and I think that's kind of a dying breed in this town, because it becomes so much about like the sound of a demo or something like that, and I think there's a lot of young people, not that there's anything wrong with young people, being at the forefront of a publishing company, but I think it takes a lot of experience and hearing just zillions of songs to know how to talk to somebody about what's right or wrong about a song or how to make it better.
So true.
And when, and this because you've met people like this, when there's somebody that's really new, they aren't always pliable to other people's ideas, because they've fallen in love with what they've written.
Exactly. And they're not willing to let go of their babies, And I understand that, because I think at one point I was like that too. But after a while and enough critiques and enough, talking with people and writing, you realize you have to not hang on to your ideas. Like, be willing to be open and to changing and be flexible. Yeah. Because there could always be something better or a better way to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's a song for you that really, that you really love so much, a song that was really impacting to you that you heard? It could be any genre.
I'm glad you said that, because I think the song that impacted me the most, well, there's been many, but one song that I remember pulling off the side of the road and just being in awe of was I Can Only Imagine.
Oh, yeah. It's so great.
Oh, my gosh, that song gets me every time.
Yeah.
And the story then is just so great too.
Oh, I know.
It.
Isn't there supposed to be a part 2 of that?
There is.
I can only imagine 2.
Yeah, which I'm excited to see because the first movie is so
that story
good.
is so.
Oh my
you want
gosh.
to talk about somebody that really came up against a lot of hardships.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And that movie, every time I see it, makes me cry too.
Oh,
it's just so well done.
It's such a great story.
Yeah, and that song is just it just shows the power of a song.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the kind of songs I would love to be able to craft and write.
Yeah.
You know, when you really get down to it, it's the love of creating something that makes you feel a certain way that's so good. Like when you write something that's so, just you feel like it's really a great song and it just gives you a high almost, right?
Well, I will never forget this, and this person is a tough song lady, Chris Lacey at Warner Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember being at an AIMP panel and she was speaking. It was a panel of women, all these women that were execs. And she said, I think somebody asked her, how do you know if you hear a hit song, something like that. And she said, well, I always tell my staff, and myself, does it make me feel? And that really stuck with me. And I thought that is so true and should be something that we all hold ourselves to in a writing room. Because how many times have we been writing something and it's just like, why are we stuck in the mud here?
Yeah.
Not that a great song can't get stuck in the mud for a minute, but before it's done. But if it's
something that moves you, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like it's the melody that does that initially, and then the lyric hooks you in.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have that feeling, it moves you.
Yeah,
I know exactly what she means by that.
Yeah.
She is a tough one. And so if she feels something from a song, that's a great sign.
Well, I just think about all the songs she's heard in her career.
Oh my
Can
gosh.
you imagine all she's listened to? Thousands and thousands of that. You can't even count them.
And so you want to also, I think, as a writer, make sure that your song stands out because you have these people listening, and artists that are listening that have, heard everything a million times, and it has to really stand out because they could maybe write it themselves. It has to be something better than what they could write themselves.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
when you were a kid, did you want to be a singer, or what did you want to do when you were a little girl or a teenager?
I was always humming and making up little, songs.
Really?
Always, from just a baby on up. I mean, my mom always said, you're always humming. You always have a melody. And my mom was a concert pianist. She's studying to go and do all kinds of things. But I would sit and listen to her as a baby, just listen to her practice Mozart and Chopin and all the greats, Bach. And I think it just rubbed off on me. And I just always felt such a connection to music.
I think you're about the 4th writer or 5th writer I've interviewed that's talked about how one of their parents was a real fine musician or a concert musician. Yeah.
Wow.
Like a symphonic pianist or symphonic musician. Classical.
Classically trained. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Oh, she was so wonderful. And she would just
Is
always
your
have
mom
a melody.
Still alive?
No, my mom
I'm
passed,
sorry.
unfortunately. But she was just lovely and always was singing a song too. She always had a song in her heart.
That's so great.
She was wonderful. So I think that probably rubbed off on me, of course. And always wanted to be involved with music.
Yeah.
And you know what? When you're growing up and you don't, like my parents were also, even though as creative as my mother was, they were also very conservative and wanted me to sort of go on to do something that was, 9 to 5,
a job,
a real
as
job,
we call it,
right?
a job,
a real job, a career, law or medicine or whatever. And so I think they had a hard time trying to figure out how I would ever make sense of it and how I would ever make a living.
Yeah.
Which I'm still trying to make sense of.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to make a living in songwriting these days because of the way we now get to hear music and the way music is consumed and
I know
all that kind of thing. It's really something though, when you think about the chance you can have with a song, that if it streams a billion streams. That sounds crazy, but there's so many songs that have done that, and people are making millions of dollars from that. It's almost hard to calculate, but I was at an NSAI breakfast, which NSAI is such a great organization, but one of the writers, or the writer of Despacito, came to this breakfast.
Oh my gosh.
And that's the most streamed song. And that song's been streamed like 4.6 billion times.
Great. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Unbelievable.
It's really fun.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
I'd like to talk to her about how she came up with that idea.
I know, right? Isn't that a great song?
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
See, we keep saying that word.
Fun. Yeah.
Fun. It's all of it's fun.
But don't you feel like your co-writes that you've had, when you have a good time, they stick with you?
Oh yeah.
And you remember the songs, you remember the time, and
So there's a noise, anything. So I'm not the only one making a sound here.
Right. Or if I say something, stupid or whatever, they're going to think I'm, whatever. I always just preface everything by saying, I'm going to definitely say something stupid, and, I'm going to bring my half-baked ideas, and, we can laugh about it.
That's
because
hilarious.
You never know what's going to stick.
No. Well, you never know. Like somebody will say, oh, no, I'm not going to say that. That's stupid. And I say it. It could be something that somebody else in the room thinks is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
How many times have we done this?
Oh my gosh.
A lot of times.
Yeah.
A lot of times. So this is another thing I ask my guests quite a bit is, what is your power word? And I know you probably get 10 of them if you're like me. Because you're a powerful girl.
Because you know what? And you think about, how can one word sum it all up?
It doesn't have to be.
There's so many. Okay, I'm going to name a few then. I'm going to say a few. Blessed is a powerful word. Mm-hmm. And it's a positive, beautiful word. Because, when you look at the world with a grateful mindset, it changes everything.
Right.
So blessed and feeling, being grateful for everything that you get.
Yeah.
And not comparing yourself too much with other people. So it's very powerful to me, that word, blessed.
Yeah.
Strength.
Mm-hmm.
Very powerful. Being strong, and being strong in the right reasons.
Yeah.
And being strong for others. So strength, kindness. Mm-hmm. Kindness, I love that word. And it doesn't mean you're soft or gullible or anything else. It's kindness is a beautiful gift.
Yeah.
And it really when you're in a room with somebody and somebody does say something and they feel uncomfortable, you treat it with kindness. You don't say, that was really stupid.
Yeah. Even though you want to. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna secretly oh, that was But so there's a few. Those three really stand out to me.
That's nice. I like that. Those are great.
Yeah.
So we're gonna close the show with one of your songs, but I have to say I've really enjoyed talking to you, and you and I could talk for 3 days.
Oh my gosh, I can talk to you forever. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for being here. You're welcome. Gosh. We haven't even touched on like lipstick or shoes or anything like that.
Fashion. We have to do that next time.
That's a whole other episode, I think.
Other episode.
Fashion and songwriting.
Yeah.
Dressing for the songwriting session.
Yeah, I love that. That's our next one.
Always bring a jacket because it's going to be cold. I'll tell you that. Oh, that's fun.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it so much, your time. So tell me about what song we're going to hear today and who'd you write it with? And
I would like you to hear a song called Home in My Hometown. And it's a song I wrote with Bill DeLuigi and Josh Ronan. And it's been, a couple years, but it just is a strong message about home and about love. And I've always loved this song. Mm-hmm. I've written so many songs, but this one always sticks out to me as being, really special.
Well, that's great. So you wrote it with Bill DeLuigi and Josh Ronan, and who's going to be singing the song?
I had J.C. Anderson do the demo of the song, but Josh Ronan does a really great version of it as well.
Yeah, he's a great singer.
He's a great singer and very unique, more pop kind of sounding. So I can, I'll give you both versions and you can play whichever you
maybe
like.
we'll play them both.
Yeah, play them both.
We'll play both versions at the end of the show.
That would be great.
Well, that sounds good. Well, I want to thank you so much, Jude Toy, for being here. Continue to spread all your fun and laughter and kindness and strength and blessedness all over all the writing sessions you go in.
Amen to that.
Oh, yeah. And everybody stick around. We're going to be right back.
I've spent hotel nights and runways, 2 long months of Sundays, missing every minute of your smile. I may not say it all the time, only every other county line, even though it's been a little while. You should know how I feel by now, but if I have to spell it out, H, heaven on a back road, oh, only place I wanna go in, my safe and sound. E, every good part of southern ground. When I'm lost, you turn me back around. You're the home in my hometown. Take me there, you know I can feel you everywhere. Can you hear it in every single word? Don't have to look around no more. I found a place God made me for. H, heaven on a back road, oh, only place I wanna go in, my safe and sound. E, every good part of southern ground. Your taste of homemade whiskey, the way your kiss hits me, ain't a chance I'll forget every piece of who I am. When I'm lost, you turn me back around. You're the home in my hometown. You turn me back around. Whoa, H, heaven on a back road, oh, only place I wanna go in, my safe and sound. E, every good part of southern ground.